All right, so you ready to take a deep dive into AI in the workplace?
Let's do it.
You've sent us a really fascinating collection of articles and research all about how AI is being used in the workplace, like everything from hiring and firing to monitoring employees and even promoting employees.
It seems like you want to understand the current state of AI in the workplace. Like,
Yeah.
what's working, what's worrisome, and what questions should we even be asking at this point?
Exactly. And to help us unpack all of this, we've got a book review of The Algorithm by Hilk Shellman and a few research articles about how AI is changing talent management. And we've even got this interesting analysis of the alignment problem from a book by Brian Christian.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, right? We'll get to explore some real-life examples of AI successes and failures in the workplace, and then we'll touch on some of the ethical dilemmas and potential solutions that people are talking about.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about those AI hiring tools. Shellman really dives into this in The Algorithm, and she talks about both the potential and the pitfalls of using AI to make these hiring decisions.
One of the things that she highlights is that some of these AI tools can unintentionally make existing inequalities even worse.
Oh, yeah, like that Amazon story about their AI resume screener.
Exactly. That's the one where it ended up discriminating against women.
Yeah.
So the AI was actually trained on data that reflected a mostly male workforce. And so it ended up favoring male candidates over female candidates.
Wow.
It's a perfect example of how these black box algorithms can be super problematic because you might not even know why you got rejected.
And if you don't know why you got rejected, how are you supposed to, improve your chances next time?
Exactly. And that lack of transparency is a huge concern for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's just tough to feel like you're being treated fairly when you don't understand the system that's making decisions about your career.
Shellman also argues that a lot of these tools rely on what she calls pseudoscientific foundations. What does that even mean?
Basically, it means that some of the claims that these companies are making about what these tools can do might not actually be backed up by real science. They might use a lot of fancy terminology and really complex algorithms, but the underlying logic might be flawed.
Oh, wow.
So you really have to be careful about taking everything that these companies say at face value.
So it's not just about AI being biased, it's about the tools themselves maybe not even working as advertised.
Yeah.
That's unsettling.
It is, but it's also important to remember that these AI hiring tools can be designed in a way that actually makes things more fair and equitable.
Okay.
It's all about how they're developed and implemented.
Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
There are potential benefits, but we really need to be careful about how these tools are being used.
For example, AI could be used to flag potential bias in job descriptions or to help identify qualified candidates from underrepresented groups.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's all about using the technology to level the playing field, not to reinforce existing inequalities.
And we can't forget about the new generation entering the workforce. Gen Z has grown up with technology, so they probably have different expectations about how it's used in hiring.
Right? They might be a lot more comfortable with AI-driven hiring processes, as long as they feel like they're being treated fairly and transparently.
Okay, so we've seen how AI is changing hiring practices, but it's impacting a lot more than that. It's changing how talent is managed, how productivity is tracked, and even how health is monitored in the workplace.
This is where things get a lot more complex, and the potential implications for your everyday work life become even more significant.
AI 2041, 10 Visions for Our Future, has a story about AI personalizing your learning experience at work and using gamified challenges to keep you motivated.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of cool, actually.
It does have a certain appeal to it.
Yeah.
Imagine having an AI tutor that adapts to your learning style and helps you acquire new skills more effectively.
That could be a game changer for professional development.
Right.
But there are downsides to consider too, right? What happens to human teachers in that kind of future?
That's a great question. Do they become obsolete, or do they take on new roles more focused on mentorship and guidance?
Yeah.
These are things we really need to think about as AI takes on this larger role in training and development.
And what about the potential for AI to create even more tech dependence? If we're relying on algorithms to tell us how to learn and what skills to develop, are we losing some of our own agency?
That's a really valid concern. It's super important to strike a balance between leveraging the power of AI and maintaining our own autonomy as learners and professionals.
The algorithm also touches on the issue of AI-driven workplace monitoring, and Shellman shows how these tools can create an environment of distrust and even psychological harm, all while being marketed as productivity enhancers.
And we've seen some real-world examples of this, like Microsoft's productivity score,
Oh, yeah.
which essentially quantifies every aspect of an employee's digital activity.
That's kind of creepy.
It is. That
Oh.
level of surveillance can be incredibly stressful and really counterproductive.
It's like Big Brother is watching your every move, tracking your every keystroke and every mouse click.
Yeah.
That doesn't exactly scream healthy work environment.
Not at all.
Mm.
It raises some serious questions about privacy and autonomy and the potential for data misuse.
Right, because when you feel like you're constantly being watched and judged, it's hard to be creative and productive.
Exactly.
So we've got these powerful AI systems entering the workplace, making decisions that affect people's lives, but how can we make sure that these systems reflect human values?
This is the core of what Brian Christian calls the alignment problem in his book.
Uh-huh.
And it's a challenge that goes beyond the workplace.
Hmm.
It's a fundamental question about the nature of intelligence values and decision-making.
It's like trying to teach a child right from wrong, but on an infinitely more complex scale.
Right.
We're talking about imbuing these artificial systems with a moral compass, and that's a monumental task.
It is. And the stakes are incredibly high.
Hmm.
Imagine an AI system in a hospital making life or death decisions based on flawed or incomplete data.
That's scary.
That's a scary thought. And it underscores the urgency of addressing this alignment problem.
So how do we do that? How do we make sure that AI is aligned with our values?
I think one crucial step is transparency. We need to be able to understand how these AI models are developed, how they work, and how they arrive at their decisions.
We can't just blindly trust these systems, right? We need to be able to scrutinize them to hold them accountable.
Exactly. And that accountability needs to be built into the systems themselves. It's not enough to just have good intentions.
Right.
We need to have mechanisms in place to ensure that AI is used responsibly and ethically.
Right.
And that requires a really deep understanding of those values and how to translate them into a language that machines can understand.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about understanding what we as humans want and how we want to be treated,
Right.
and then figuring out how to teach that to AI.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly complex.
It is. It's a challenge that brings together computer science, philosophy, psychology, even sociology.
Wow.
But it's a challenge we have to tackle if we want to harness the power of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
We've covered a lot of ground here. AI hiring tools, workplace monitoring the alignment problem. It's clear that AI is already having a massive impact on the workplace.
And that impact is only going to grow in the coming years.
Yeah.
Every industry is going to be touched by AI in some way, which is why it's so important for you to be thinking about these issues now.
So what does this all mean for the average person, for someone who might be hearing about some of these AI issues for the first time?
I think the key takeaway is that AI doesn't have to be a threat. It's not about AI versus humans. It's about finding a balance where AI enhances human capabilities and creates a more equitable and fulfilling work experience.
So instead of worrying about robots taking our jobs, we should be thinking about how AI can make our jobs better and how we can adapt our skills to work alongside AI.
Exactly. The research that we've looked at emphasizes the need for what's called a human-centric approach to AI. It's not enough to just focus on the technical side of things.
Okay.
We need to prioritize things like transparency and accountability.
And we need to make sure that these systems are designed to benefit everyone, not just a select few.
That's where initiatives like the ones described in Progressive Capitalism by Ro Khanna come in. He talks about expanding access to technological jobs nationwide through these public-private partnerships. It's about closing the wealth gap in America by democratizing access to technology and the opportunities it creates.
That's a bold vision, but it seems to acknowledge that AI has the potential to make existing inequalities even worse if we're not careful.
It does, but it also highlights the potential for AI to be a force for good, not just for a select few, but for all of society. But that requires careful planning foresight and a commitment to doing things the right way.
So there's a lot to think about when it comes to AI in the workplace. It's a rapidly evolving landscape with both exciting possibilities and potential pitfalls. It's almost like navigating uncharted territory.
It is uncharted territory in many ways, and that's why it's so important to have open and honest conversations about these issues. The sources you've provided offer a glimpse into these complexities and highlight the need for ongoing dialogue and critical thinking.
Okay, so you're saying we can't just bury our heads in the sand and hope AI goes away. We need to be actively engaged in shaping how it develops.
Absolutely. And that starts with understanding the potential impact of AI, both positive and negative. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of future do we want to create? What role do we want AI to play in our lives and in our work?
You mentioned earlier that it's not about AI versus humans. It's about finding a balance. Can you talk a bit more about what that balance might look like?
Well, imagine a workplace where AI is used to automate repetitive tasks, freeing up human workers to focus on more creative and strategic work. Or where AI provides real-time feedback and coaching, helping employees learn and grow more effectively.
So AI as a tool to enhance our productivity and job satisfaction rather than replace us entirely.
Exactly. But that kind of future doesn't just happen. We need to actively design it. We need to be intentional about how we develop and implement AI, making sure that it aligns with our human values and goals.
One thing that really stuck with me from the algorithm was the story of Lizzie the woman who was wrongfully terminated based on data from a faulty AI system.
Oh, yeah.
It really brought home the point that these aren't just abstract concepts, they have real-world consequences for real people.
It's a stark reminder that AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on, and the humans who design and operate them. And it underscores the need for transparency, accountability, and oversight.
So how can we as individuals advocate for those things? What can we do to make sure that AI is used ethically and responsibly in the workplace?
Well, first and foremost, educate yourself. The more you understand about AI and its potential impact, the better equipped you'll be to navigate these changes and advocate for yourself and others.
So read books like The Algorithm, stay informed about the latest developments in AI, and maybe even take some online courses to deepen your understanding.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge the assumptions behind AI systems. Demand transparency and accountability from the companies developing and using these tools.
It sounds like taking an active role in shaping the future of AI is crucial. We can't just sit back and wait for things to happen.
Right. The choices we make today will determine what the future of work looks like.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us to ensure that it's a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
AI 2041 brought up some interesting points about how AI could erode human agency and create a culture of dependence. One story talks about personalized AI assistants becoming so integrated into our lives that they essentially make decisions for us.
That's a thought-provoking, if somewhat unsettling scenario. It raises questions about the balance of power between humans and AI. Do we want to live in a world where algorithms control our lives, or do we want to maintain our autonomy and make our own choices?
It's almost like a science fiction dystopia where we become so reliant on AI that we lose the ability to think for ourselves. But it also highlights the potential for AI to be used in manipulative ways. If an AI assistant knows everything about you, your habits, your preferences, your weaknesses, couldn't it be used to nudge you towards certain decisions?
It could, and that's why it's so important to be aware of the potential downsides of AI as well as the benefits. We need to be critical thinkers, questioning the assumptions behind AI systems and advocating for our own autonomy and privacy.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but how it's used and who controls it. And it's about making sure that AI empowers us rather than taking away our freedom of choice.
Exactly. It's about shaping the future of AI in a way that aligns with our human values.
One of the things that really resonated with me from the alignment problem was the discussion of how human values can be inherently contradictory. We might value both individual freedom and social order, but those values can sometimes come into conflict. How do we train AI systems to navigate those complexities?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of the challenge of aligning AI with human values. We humans often struggle with conflicting values ourselves. So how can we expect AI to do any better?
So it's not just about teaching AI right from wrong. It's about teaching it to understand and navigate the nuances and complexities of human morality.
Exactly. And that's a task that will require a deep understanding of human psychology, sociology, philosophy, and ethics. It's not something that can be solved with a simple algorithm.
It seems like we're just scratching the surface of what it means to create truly intelligent AI that can understand and reason about the world in the same way that humans do.
We are. And this is where the conversation starts to move beyond the purely technical realm and into the realm of philosophy and even spirituality. What does it mean for a machine to be conscious? What does it mean to have free will? These are questions that have been debated for centuries, and now they're becoming increasingly relevant in the context of AI.
It's mind-blowing to think about, really. We're creating machines that could potentially surpass our own intelligence. But we're still grappling with these fundamental questions of what it means to be human.
It is. And it's a reminder that the development of AI is not just a technological journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. As we strive to create intelligent machines, we're forced to confront fundamental questions about ourselves, about what makes us unique, and about what our place is in the universe.
It's almost like AI is holding up a mirror to humanity, forcing us to confront our own strengths and weaknesses, our incomplexities and contradictions.
Exactly. And in that sense, AI could be the catalyst for a new era of human enlightenment. It could help us to better understand ourselves, to clarify our values, and to create a more just and equitable society.
It's interesting to consider the different perspectives on the role of government in regulating AI. Some people argue for a hands-off approach, letting the market drive innovation, while others believe that government intervention is necessary to ensure ethical and responsible development. Where do you stand on this?
I think it's a complex issue with no easy answers. There are valid arguments on both sides. On the one hand, too much regulation could stifle innovation and prevent the development of beneficial AI technologies. On the other hand, a lack of regulation could lead to the development of AI systems that are harmful or even dangerous.
So it's about finding the right balance between fostering innovation and protecting the public interest.
Exactly. And that balance is likely to evolve over time as AI technology develops and we gain a better understanding of its potential impact.
Progressive capitalism makes a compelling case for the government playing a more active role in shaping the future of AI. Khanna argues that the government can foster innovation and create economic opportunities while also protecting workers and ensuring that AI benefits all of society.
Yes, and he proposes initiatives like public-private partnerships to invest in AI research and development, as well as training programs to equip workers with the skills they need to succeed in an AI-powered economy.
It sounds like a proactive approach rather than a reactive one.
It is, and it recognizes that AI has the potential to be a transformative force in society, both for good and for ill. It's about shaping the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
One thing that really resonated with me from AI 2041 was the idea that AI can actually help us to understand and address some of humanity's biggest challenges. The book explores how AI could be used to develop solutions for climate change, poverty, disease, and other global issues.
It's a reminder that AI is not just a tool for automating tasks or making profits. It's a tool that can be used to improve the human condition.
It's about using our ingenuity and our technological prowess to solve real-world problems and create a better future for everyone.
Exactly. And that requires a shift in mindset. We need to move beyond seeing AI as a threat or as a source of profit and start seeing it as a tool for solving problems and creating a more just and equitable world.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but the intentions behind it and the goals we set for it.
Right. And it's about recognizing that AI is a powerful force that can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to decide how we want to use it and what kind of future we want to create.
One of the things that I found particularly fascinating in the algorithm was the discussion of how AI is changing the nature of work itself. Shulman explores how AI is blurring the lines between traditional job roles and creating new forms of work like the rise of the gig economy.
Yes, and this shift towards more flexible and independent work arrangements has both benefits and drawbacks. On the one hand, it can provide greater autonomy and flexibility for workers. On the other hand, it can lead to greater job insecurity, lower wages, and a lack of benefits.
It's a complex issue that will require careful consideration and creative solutions. We need to find ways to ensure that workers have access to good-paying jobs with decent benefits, even as the nature of work evolves.
Exactly, and it's about recognizing that the traditional model of full-time employment may not be sustainable in an AI-powered economy. We may need to rethink our social safety nets and our entire approach to work and labor.
It's a time for innovation, not just in technology, but also in our social and economic systems.
Absolutely. We need to be bold and creative in finding solutions that meet the needs of workers in an AI-powered world. And that will require a collaborative effort between government, industry, and workers themselves.
One thing that's really encouraging is the growing awareness of the ethical implications of AI. There's a lot more discussion now about issues like bias, fairness, transparency, and accountability.
Yes, and that's a positive development. Organizations like the Partnership on AI are bringing together experts from different fields to develop ethical guidelines for AI development. And governments around the world are starting to grapple with the need for regulations to ensure that AI is used responsibly.
It's a sign that we're starting to take the ethical challenges of AI seriously.
But there's still a lot of work to be done. We need to translate these ethical principles into concrete actions and ensure that they're embedded in the design and deployment of AI systems.
It's not enough to just talk about ethics. We need to put those values into practice.
Exactly. And that will require ongoing dialogue, collaboration, and a willingness to challenge the status quo.
One of the things that I find most exciting about AI is its potential to augment human intelligence. Instead of viewing AI as a threat, we can see it as a tool that can enhance our abilities and help us to achieve more than we ever could on our own.
Imagine a world where AI helps us to solve complex problems make better decisions, and even enhance our creativity.
It's a future where humans and AI work together, each leveraging their unique strengths to create something truly remarkable.
It's a future where AI is not just a replacement for human labor,
Yeah.
but a collaborator, a partner, and even a source of inspiration.
It's a vision of a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
And it's a vision that I believe is worth striving for.
As we delve deeper into these sources, I'm struck by the recurring theme of education and its critical role in preparing for an AI-powered future. It's not just about teaching people technical skills, it's about fostering critical thinking, creativity, and a deep understanding of ethical principles.
We need to equip future generations with the ability to question assumptions, challenge biases, and navigate the complexities of an AI-driven world.
It's about empowering people to be active participants in shaping the future of AI, not just passive consumers of its outputs.
And it's about recognizing that education is a lifelong process, not just something that happens in school. In an AI-powered world, we'll all need to be constantly learning, adapting, and evolving.
It's a time for a fundamental shift in how we think about education and its role in society.
We need to move beyond traditional models of rote learning and standardized testing.
We need to foster a culture of curiosity, exploration, and critical engagement with technology.
It's about creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive in the age of AI.
One of the things that's really thought-provoking about the alignment problem is the idea that AI can help us to understand ourselves better. Christian explores how AI research can shed light on the nature of intelligence, consciousness, and even human values.
By trying to create artificial intelligence, we're forced to confront fundamental questions about what it means to be human.
What are the essential qualities that make us who we are? What are our values, and how do they shape our decisions?
These are questions that philosophers have been grappling with for centuries, and now AI is giving us new tools and perspectives to explore them.
It's a fascinating intersection of technology, philosophy, and psychology.
And it suggests that AI research can have profound implications, not just for our technological future, but for our understanding of ourselves as human beings.
It's a journey of discovery, both outward into the realm of artificial intelligence and inward into the depths of our own minds. As we explore these sources, I'm struck by the sense of urgency and the need for action.
Yes, AI is not just a futuristic concept. It's already shaping our world in profound ways.
We need to act now to ensure that AI is developed and used ethically, responsibly, and for the benefit of all humanity.
It's a time for bold leadership, innovative solutions, and a deep commitment to human values.
We can't afford to be complacent or to wait for someone else to solve these challenges.
The future of AI is in our hands, and it's up to us to shape it wisely.
One thing that's really inspiring about progressive capitalism is a sense of optimism and the belief that we can create a better future with AI.
Yes, Kana presents a vision of a future where AI is used to empower people, create economic opportunities, and solve some of the world's most pressing problems.
It's a future where technology is used to bridge divides, not widen them.
It's a future where everyone has the opportunity to participate in the benefits of AI.
It's a vision that's both ambitious and achievable.
But it will require a collective effort from all sectors of society.
We need to work together to ensure that AI is used for good and that its benefits are shared widely.
It's a time for collaboration, innovation, and a deep commitment to human values.
One of the things that's really compelling about all these sources is the call for a more human-centric approach to AI.
It's about recognizing that AI is not just a tool, but a powerful force that will shape our lives in profound ways.
We need to ensure that AI is aligned with our values, that it respects our autonomy, and that it's used to enhance human well-being.
It's about putting people at the center of the AI revolution.
It's about creating a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
And that requires a fundamental shift in our thinking.
We need to move beyond a purely technological view of AI. We need to embrace a more holistic perspective that takes into account the ethical, social, and cultural implications of AI.
It's about recognizing that AI is not just a matter of bits and bytes, but a profound force that will shape our destiny as a species.
It's a time for deep reflection, thoughtful dialogue, and bold action.
We need to come together as a society to ensure that AI is used to create a future that is just equitable and sustainable for all.
It's a challenge that we can't afford to ignore.
And it's an opportunity that we must seize with wisdom, courage, and compassion.
One of the things that's really striking about the algorithm is the way it exposes the often hidden biases that can creep into AI systems. Yes, Shellman does a great job of showing how seemingly neutral algorithms can actually perpetuate existing inequalities.
Whether it's gender bias in hiring, racial bias in criminal justice, or socioeconomic bias in lending AI systems can reflect and even amplify the biases that exist in the data they're trained on.
It's a sobering reminder that we need to be vigilant about identifying and mitigating bias in all AI systems.
And it's a call to action to create more inclusive and equitable data sets that reflect the diversity of human experience.
It's about ensuring that AI is used to break down barriers, not reinforce them.
And it's about creating a future where everyone has an equal opportunity to benefit from the power of AI.
You know, one of the things that's really encouraging about AI 2041 is the way it explores the potential for AI to address some of humanity's biggest challenges.
Yes, the book showcases how AI could be used to develop solutions for climate change, poverty, disease, and other global issues.
It's a reminder that AI can be a powerful force for good if we use it wisely and ethically.
Imagine a world where AI helps us to create sustainable energy sources, develop new medical treatments, and provide personalized education to everyone.
It's a future where technology is used to uplift humanity and create a more just and equitable world.
It's a vision that's both inspiring and challenging.
But it's a vision that's worth striving for.
And it's a vision that we can achieve if we work together with a shared commitment to human values and a belief in the power of human ingenuity.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this whole AI conversation.
I think we have. And that's both exciting and a little bit daunting, isn't it? There's so much to explore and so much potential, but also a lot of unknowns.
There are a lot of unknowns, and we've talked about potential pitfalls and the philosophical questions, all that, but do you think there's room for optimism in all of this?
Oh, absolutely. Just the fact that we're having this discussion shows that people are aware of the stakes and are actively trying to figure this out.
I guess it's easy to get caught up in the robots taking over narrative, but there's also this potential for AI to be a force for good.
Exactly. AI itself isn't good or bad. It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used in many ways.
So it's not about fearing the tech, it's about being smart about how we use it.
Right. It's about harnessing its capabilities to benefit humanity. And to do that, we need a real shift in our thinking. We have to move beyond the hype and the fear-mongering and start thinking critically about what we want our relationship with AI to be.
We need to define what we want from AI. What role do we want it to play in our lives, in our work, in society as a whole? And how can we make sure it's being used to empower people, not control them?
Those are huge questions, and they're not easy to answer, but they're questions we have to grapple with. And I think doing so collectively is really crucial. It's not just up to tech companies or governments to figure this out. It's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
One thing that does give me some hope is seeing all the people and organizations working to make sure that AI is developed and used ethically.
That's encouraging, for sure. The field of AI ethics is growing so rapidly. We've got researchers, policymakers, tech leaders, all coming together to develop these guidelines and best practices. And there's this whole movement around AI for social good, using it to tackle challenges in healthcare, education, the environment, you name it.
So it's not all doom and gloom. People are using AI to make a positive impact, and that's inspiring.
It really is. It shows that we have the potential to steer AI in direction that benefits humanity. And that's definitely something worth striving for.
You know, going back to the alignment problem, one idea that really stuck with me was that AI could actually help us understand our own values better. That seems kind of counterintuitive.
It is a fascinating idea, isn't it? It's almost like using AI as a mirror to reflect back on what we as humans truly value.
So by trying to program AI systems with human values, we end up having to define those values more clearly for ourselves.
Exactly. We have to get specific about what we mean by fairness, justice, compassion, all those things that we often take for granted. And that process of defining our values can lead to a deeper understanding of ourselves and what we truly believe in.
It's almost like AI is forcing us to confront the complexity of our own morality.
It is, and it's not always comfortable, but it's a necessary conversation to have if we want to create a future where AI is truly aligned with our values.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways you'd want to leave our listeners with?
Well, first off, I think it's important to remember that the future of AI isn't set in stone. We're all shaping it with the choices that we make every day. You have agency in this, you have a voice, and it's important to use it.
So stay informed, stay engaged, ask questions, challenge assumptions. Don't just be a passive observer in all of this.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just a tech issue. It's a human issue. It's about our values, our ethics, our vision for the future. We need to approach AI with a human-centric perspective, making sure it serves our needs and aspirations.
And maybe most importantly, don't be afraid of the future. AI has incredible potential to make our lives better, to solve huge problems, to create a more just and equitable world. It's up to us to make that happen.
It's a call to action for each of us to be informed, to be engaged, and to be a part of shaping this future. The future of AI is ultimately the future of humanity, and that's something worth fighting for.
So to our listener out there, thanks for sending in these fascinating sources. It's been a real eye-opener exploring these issues with you. We hope this deep dive has given you some new insights and some food for thought as you navigate the ever-evolving world of AI.